Picture Baghdad, not as ruins or headlines, but as the actual center of the intellectual world. While parts of Europe were losing access to classical knowledge entirely, the Abbasid Caliphate was doing the opposite, hunting down every surviving text they could find, in every language, and bringing it to one place. That place became the House of Wisdom, not a myth, a real institution, funded by rulers who treated knowledge itself as a form of power worth investing in. Here's what most people get wrong about the House of Wisdom. It wasn't a library in the quiet, browsing sense. It was closer to a research institution. Translators, mathematicians, astronomers, and physicians all working under one roof, funded by the state, competing and collaborating at the same time. Scholars translated Greek, Persian, and Indian texts into Arabic, not as passive copying, but as active scholarship, correcting errors, adding commentary, extending the original ideas into new work entirely. Al-Khwarizmi worked here. So did astronomers mapping the stars with more precision than had existed before. This wasn't preservation. It was expansion. An entire civilization treating the pursuit of knowledge as infrastructure worth building, the same way you'd build roads or fortifications. But an institution this valuable doesn't exist in a vacuum. It existed because someone believed it was worth protecting. And that belief came from the very top. The caliphs who backed the House of Wisdom weren't funding it out of charity. They understood something brutally practical. Knowledge was leverage. Better astronomy meant better navigation and calendars. Better medicine meant a healthier, more stable population. Better mathematics meant better engineering, better taxation, better everything. There are accounts of scholars being paid the weight of their translated manuscripts in gold. Whether every detail of that story is exact or embellished over centuries of retelling, the underlying truth holds. This wasn't a passion project tucked in a corner of the palace. It was treated with the same seriousness as an army or a treasury, because in a very real sense, it functioned as both. For nearly 400 years, that investment paid off. An unbroken chain of scholarship, one generation building directly on the last. Then, in a single week, it ended. In 1258, the Mongol army arrived at Baghdad's gates. What happened next is one of the most devastating losses in intellectual history. Contemporary accounts describe the House of Wisdom's contents, centuries of accumulated manuscripts, being destroyed on a scale almost impossible to comprehend. Books thrown into the Tigris River in such volume that witnesses claimed the water turned black with ink, and some accounts say the river ran that way for days. Historians still debate the exact scale. Some details were likely exaggerated in later retellings, as devastating events often are. But even the most conservative accounts agree on this. An irreplaceable concentration of human knowledge, built over 4 centuries, was destroyed in the span of about a week. Mathematics, medicine, astronomy, philosophy, original texts and translations alike, gone, in a single catastrophic collapse. Here's the part that should actually unsettle you. We don't know exactly what was lost. Not fully. Historians can trace what survived through later citations and copies made elsewhere. But the House of Wisdom's full contents were never fully cataloged anywhere outside itself. Entire branches of knowledge may have existed inside those walls and simply vanished. Not disproven, not replaced, just gone, with no copy left anywhere on Earth. The House of Wisdom wasn't destroyed because knowledge doesn't matter. It was destroyed precisely because it did. Because an institution powerful enough to be a civilization's greatest asset is also fragile enough to be erased in a single catastrophic moment. That tension between how much knowledge takes to build and how little it takes to lose is exactly why nobody's finished retelling this story.